You are now tuned in to Creative Culture Collective Radio, WCCC, brought to you by Nefertiti and the Neptunes. We're broadcasting live every Friday from 8 to 10 from Jamaica Flava Restaurant.
Y'all ready for Ashton to come up and start her show, Queens of Stirred? Y'all ready for Queens of Stirred? Yeah. Alright, so our featured artist for the night goes by the name of Ashton Breon. She's a model, singer, and actress. You can find her at ashtonbreon.blogspot.com. What she's bringing us to us tonight is the debut of her written by, directed by, and performed by her one-woman show called Queens Disturbed. And how we gonna do it, we gonna break it up because it's like 3 different acts, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see I'm dressed like this is my theater outfit. I don't know if y'all recognize it. But yeah, so we're gonna break it up in 3 different acts. So we're gonna get started. Y'all ready for that? Ready for the next act? Say hot sauce! Alright, come to the stage. We have the lovely, lovely, lovely Miss Ashton Breon with Queens Disturbed.
My friends call me a video vixen. I like to think of myself as a urban fame connoisseur. I've done 15 music videos, 5 low-budget pornos, a couple men's magazines. Hell, I've even been the ring girl at a Mayweather fight in Vegas. I think I'm famous. More famous than you, her, and her. I'm the hood bitch hero. Something for all these little ghetto girls to look up to. Because when they turn on their TV, guess who they see? Me. That's right, me. And they can grow up to be just like me too one day. That is if they're willing to give a little here and a little there. It all started with my first music video. I was one of 20 girls gunning for the same role. Girl in bikini on bike. I wore my highest heels, my shortest skirt, and my longest hair. But when I came in the door, all I could see was that these bitches looked just like me. How the hell was I gonna shine when I got 19 clones? So I thought to myself, how can I stand out? How can I make them want me? The cast and director put us all in one room and turned on the music and told us to dance. So I did. One by one, they sent us away. Purple shirt, you can go. Bad weave, there's the door. I feel like I was back in 3rd grade. You know how they pick teams for kickball? You didn't want to get picked last, and you definitely didn't know how to kick a ball, but you just wanted to belong. Eventually, they narrowed it down to 6 girls. So the casting director steps up and says, "Great job, ladies. Take 15, grab a bite to eat, and when you return, we will have made our decision." So all these dumb assholes walk to the buffet line into the bathroom to touch up their Mac. I grab a full plate of food, a bottle of water, and head straight to the rapper's trailer. I stood there for a second, trying to think of what to say, you know. How could I convince him to put me in his video? What was special about me? I was so nervous, and it felt like my heart was beating out of my chest. I mean, what if he asked me if I like his songs? I ain't never even heard his songs. Hell, I don't even know who he is. I just know I want this bad. So I knocked on the door. He answered right away. It felt like my legs carried me up the stairs and an imaginary hand closed the door behind me. I just knew once that door closed, I couldn't be that scared little girl who missed out and ran opportunity. This was my chance. He stood there, staring at me dead in my eyes. He didn't ask me my name. He didn't ask me how I was doing. It's like he knew what I was there for before I knew what I was there for. He just told me, take off your clothes. So I did. I mean, what was I supposed to do? I felt like he was the governor and I was on trial just waiting for a pardon, or like we was playing Simon Says and he was Simon and I was the robot. Simon says, take off your clothes. Simon says, get on your knees. Simon says, open your mouth. Simon says, leave your womanhood, your dignity, and your pride at the front door. So I did. I mean, hell, it was 6 of us left. I was the only one in his trailer. What was I supposed to do? Get up, put on my clothes, go back to my mama's house and start dinner? Hell no. I stood there naked, with him staring at me as if he had seen another just like me 5 minutes before. I tried to tell him what I was there for and at least tell him my name, but he didn't care. And I don't blame him. I mean, why should he? His struggles ain't my struggles, and when them cameras stop rolling, he's going to go right back to his career, and I'm going to go right back to my life, as if we had never met. I closed my eyes and tried to imagine I was in some far-off place where none of this mattered, but that feeling only lasted for a second. His touch was so cold and uncaring, like he didn't have no soul or something. Or maybe I was the one with no soul. Either way it go. He bent me over the sink and had his way with me like a dog, pulling on my hair and calling me all types of horrible names. Guess he was in the moment, you know. He didn't last very long. And when it was over, I asked him could I use his bathroom to freshen up. He told me they had one work just fine in the building next door. Our 15 minutes was up. So I went back to where the other girls were, hoping they had absolutely no idea of what I had just done. The rapper walked over to the casting director, whispered in her ear, and walked away. She lifted up her arm and pointed at me.
Do what I ask, I'll pay you very well.
She said to the girls, thank you so much for your time. We've made our decision. The rest of you can go. Me? It was me! She picked me! I got the part! I bent over and spread my legs so I could become girl in bikini on bike. When the day was over, they paid me $400. Guess that's how much they thought I was worth. Shit, every video after that seemed like a cakewalk. Some of them even treated me real nice. My friends call me a video vixen. I like to think of myself as a urban fame connoisseur. I think I'm famous. More famous than you, her, and Have you ever known something? You know, like a secret. And you just knew that that secret would come back to bite you in the ass? Secrets have a funny way of doing that, you know? They cause all types of confusion. Like a slow leak in your tire or a slow-growing cancer just waiting to take you out. Because eventually, that slow leak turns into a hole, and that hole turns into a blowout, causing you to lose control and end up on the side of the road with no spare and nobody to call because you shouldn't have had a slow leak in the first place. I was a pro at secret keeping. You know, people drive by me every day in their fancy cars, putting on their perfectly calculated facades with such effortlessness as if it were a part of their daily routine. You know, like brushing your teeth or putting on your underwear. They walk by me holding hands and talking on cell phones. Meanwhile, the note on that fancy car hasn't been paid in 6 months. The person whose hand they hold ain't the person they make love to. And there is absolutely nobody on the other end of that line. But that's okay. These are people's secrets. It's how they maintain, it's how they get by with others. I was the Michael Jordan of secret keeping. You couldn't fake, shake, or expose me. I had just graduated from college. I was dead broke, on my own, and working 60 hours a week at Cinnabon. Making Cinnabons for assholes that don't even bother to look you in the eye when they place their order. I was so frustrated with my job and with my life, I decided to go to the strip club and release some steam. Get a drink or two. When I got there, it was dark, empty, and loud. Just what I needed. I looked around to see what weirdos and perverts I could find, but all I saw was men with a lot of cash and a lot of credit cards. A waitress bought me a drink and pointed to the other end of the bar. There was a very handsome man sitting there. He walked over to me and he said,
"When you return, we will have made our decision."
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Monday morning. Don't be late.
Don't be late. I went home thinking, who was this guy and what did he want with me? I mean, 9 a.m. Monday morning, don't be late. I kept replaying those words over and over and over again. I racked my brain that whole weekend. I laid in bed Sunday night, thinking what could he have possibly wanted with me, and would I even show up on Monday morning? Sure enough, Monday morning came and I found myself at the address on the card. I knocked on the door and a very attractive woman answered right away. She offered me a seat and a cup of coffee. My mystery man came around the corner 5 minutes later. He was so handsome. And he had on an even nicer suit than the one I saw a few days before. I couldn't help but think to myself, I mean, where was all this money coming from? the attractive secretary, the office in the heart of downtown, the suits. He sat down and he said to me, "You were in the club, all alone, buying your own drinks, and not for one moment did you look insecure. You got balls, kid, and I want to hire you for my company." He looked at my resume, lit it with a cigarette lighter, and tossed it in the trash. I mean, I was at a loss for words. I tried to say something, but no sound came out. He got up, said, "Don't ask any questions.
Don't ask
I'll
any
pay
questions.
you very well."
Do what I ask, I'll pay you very well. Everybody goes home happy.
He pulled out his checkbook, filled it out completely, left the check on the desk, got up and walked away.
Have a great afternoon.
I sat there for a second thinking, what is this? It felt like I was moving in slow motion, and I reached out and slid the check towards me. The check was made out to me for $50,000. $50,000! $50,000! It was as if the gates of heaven themselves had opened up and all of God's graces was shining down upon me. I held the check in my hand, clenching it as if it were Armageddon and I just found the last double bacon cheeseburger. I looked around with a slight shiftiness in my eyes, ready to pounce on anyone who take or dare even speak of the generous gift bestowed upon me. The check found a warm, safe spot in my bra until I got home. The next morning, I woke up, deposited my check, and went to work. I was in such anticipation of what my first day would bring. I mean, what would my job be? And would I get another check? Sure enough, the mystery man came around the corner with an even nicer suit than the day before. He was so mysterious, yet so open. Together we walked down a long hallway, an office on each side. Each office the size of a small dealership showroom floor. Each office with its own set of secrets. Like Jim Roper, third office on the left, who did a line of cocaine at his desk every day at 1:45. Or Paula Ray, corner office, who was having a very steamy affair with her lawyer, but still managing to meet her husband at 3:15 every day. And then there was Ted Spooner. He ordered 2 prostitutes Monday and Friday every week and made them dress up like pizza delivery girls. I knew every office, every associate, and every secret. My job consisted of, well, nothing made it in or out without me knowing it. I had power. I signed off on financial deals, mergers, memos. I even signed off on lunch orders. I was powerful. And I got to put my degree to use. I mean, just think about it. 3 months ago, I was making Cinnabons, and now I'm the CEO of International and Domestic Affairs. Wow. I was the go-to girl. They came to me for everything. I was taking weekend trips. I was driving 4 cars. I was the girl that went shopping on her lunch breaks and called in a masseuse and a cook on the weekends I had to work. But like that good old saying goes, all good things must come to an end. It was November 13th, and I had just signed off on a financial deal that would put our company in the black. I drove to work that morning knowing there would be a party in my honor, and there would be a fat bonus on my desk. When I got to work, it was chaos. It was as if the office had lost its mind. Everyone was running around, shredding papers, and half my team was against the wall in handcuffs. The feds were in my office waiting to arrest me. I didn't know why. They had boxes stacked on top of boxes, stacked on top of boxes, stacked on top of boxes. Each box had papers in it. And every single paper had my signature on it. All the company secrets endorsed by me. And the company had a lot of secrets. Like the warehouses on the East Coast stockpiled full of cocaine and marijuana. Or the tax evasion. Or the business mergers, illegal business mergers. When it all came down to it, they were looking for someone to blame. And all fingers pointed at me. I can sit here and say I didn't know what I was signing, but I'd be lying. I kept telling myself, just do your job and don't ask any questions. Everything will be fine. How foolish and naive of me. The mystery man was exactly that. A mystery man. When the shit hit the fan, he was gone. I had $350,000 in my savings and $250,000 in my checking. During my trial, they accused me of all types of horrible things. Things I knew weren't in my nature. When my trial was over, my checking and my banking account had been cleaned out. I had no one to call and nowhere to go. I had nothing. I was nothing. You walk by me every day, looking down on me and tossing change at me. But what I've come to realize is, the people that walk past me are one slow leak away from a flat tire, one lump away from cancer, and one secret away from losing it all. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so precious about that place. Even your emotions have an echo with so much space. But when you're out Today I meet with Judge Neville Bernstein. He's going to let me know whether my appeal for a shorter sentence has been approved or if I'm looking at another 25 years in this godforsaken place. I've been here 5 years already, and every day is longer and harder than the last. I really feel like I'm losing my mind here. I do the same thing every day without fail. I'm stuck in the same cell every day without fail. You know, they say doing the same thing over and over again is a form of insanity. I think I went insane a long time ago. You see, I'm a God-fearing woman. I pray, I fast, I spread the gospel like it's my last breath. I abstain from sex. But now I'm starting to feel like Christ will never accept me into his kingdom. Why would he? This is my life. This is what I do every day. I didn't rape any babies. I didn't sell any drugs. As a matter of fact, I did the world a favor. And because I decided that the world was better off without him, my payment has been returned to me in the form of this. I get raped every day by a big manly woman named Subway Kate. I'm exposed to exploitation and extortion and hate and lesbianism that I could honestly do without. I'm really starting to think God will never accept me after this. You see, I was a deacon at my church. And if I must say so, the most attractive woman in my congregation. All the pastors, altar boys, some of the choir members even wanted me. They wanted to taste my forbidden fruit. But I only had eyes for one man. And only one man tickled my God-fearing fancy. I lay in bed at night thinking how life would have been different had I not done what I done. Now, I don't regret what I did. I just wish I wouldn't have got caught. I did the world a favor. But I must admit, I miss my pastor. I really miss my pastor. I miss my church. I miss my congregation. I mean, I started a church group here. We meet every Wednesday in the boiler room, but it's not the same. All because I decided that the world was better off without him. One night, I was putting Bibles and church fans behind every pew, like I do after Bible study. Reverend Kearns walked up behind me and said, "I need to speak with you." I closed my eyes and prayed that what he had to say to me was what I had been waiting to hear. You see, I was in love with this man. Not because he was tall and had black hair, and every now and again his hair would fall in his eyes, and his shoes always matched his ties. I was in love with him because he was a God-fearing man. He was an honest man. He was our shepherd. And we were his flock. I took a deep breath and readied my ears for what he had to say to me. He said with such an inviting tone, "I've been watching you for months and I think you're beautiful. Not only that, but I think you're an asset to this church." I turned around and looked him in his eyes. I just knew this was it. I knew he would finally admit to me he loved me as much as I loved him. He grabbed my hand and he kissed me long and slow. I guess he couldn't hold back anymore. I was so happy. I got my man of God. I got my man of God. We dated for a few months. Tried to keep it as quiet as possible. We didn't want to shake anything up in the church. He was amazing. He treated me like a queen. He treated me like a true woman of God. And I loved him for it. Every Sunday, I would walk by, and certain members of the congregation would whisper about me. Now, me being the woman that I am, I never paid it much attention. I mean, people talk. That's what people do. But they weren't talking for no reason. You see, I had heard little rumors here and there about him messing with Joni. Or him messing with Alicia. So many different women kept popping up every Sunday. I refused to believe it. I figured if it was true, he would tell me. He would be completely honest with me. I mean, after all, we're talking about a reverend here, a man of God. We had become so close that he asked me to deliver the sermon on Sunday. I came into church early to prepare myself. I wanted to give the best word possible. He even gave me a key to his study. So as I do every Sunday, I used his key and walked into the study. I wasn't expecting for anyone to be there. And when I came in, Jimmy was there. My reverend, my man was there. Not with any of the women that I had heard about, but with Leon, the choir director. Of all people, Leon? I mean, my mind began to race. How can you get on the pulpit one Sunday and speak against the things that you're doing? How can you get on the pulpit one Sunday and talk about the type of man you are and not walk in that same light? I really felt like I lost my mind at that moment. I mean, I closed my eyes. I lifted up my Bible. And I beat him to death. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I blacked out. Leon ran out of the study, screaming, "She's killing him! She's killing him!" I didn't know. I just didn't want him to lie to anyone else. I had to take matters into my own hands. And this is where it got me. I'm stuck here. But the funny thing is, I don't regret what I did. I just wish I wouldn't have got caught. He wasn't a man of God. He was a man of himself. How dare he get up in front of my congregation and lie to people who hang off of his every word. He wasn't a man of God. He wasn't a man of God.